ridiculous TBR is back. Let me just say. I better turn off my music or I might get copyrighted. Hang on. Oops. Shh. Shh. I am waiting very patiently for books to come in the mail from the UK. And can I just say it's taking too long. It really is taking way too long. I don't understand why it's taking so long for these books to get to me. One of the books that I'm waiting for that I'm going to read right away is So I think, ooh, hi granola. Hi. I think I'm welcoming some new subscribers to my channel. If you're new, hello. If you're an OG, hello. It is so nice to have you stop by my channel, and thank you so much for being here and for commenting, liking, and subscribing. I think I personally need to thank Shelly and Sandy for maybe sending some folks my way after I did my video on big books, and I tagged Sandy from Miss Reads a Lot. She responded to my tag very efficiently and did her video pretty quickly, and then I should have tagged Shelly. It was my mistake, I guess, but she is so lovely and she watched my video and just decided to go ahead and was inspired to do something along the lines of the tag, like a discussion around big books, and I just think that's wonderful. That's what BookTube is really supposed to be all about. So thank you very much to you too for, I don't know, keeping the conversation going. I much appreciate it. It's so much fun. And for saying nice things about my channel, that always means a lot. I'm just a little tiny, teensy weensy little channel here. It just means a lot when people appreciate what I'm doing. It makes me feel good. And I know that other booktubers appreciate it. So just all around good feelings, except for the way it feels when Nola bites my hand like this. It's quite uncomfortable. Can you please stop? This is the behavior from I just got home from work and it's Friday. This is also the hairstyle for I just got home from work and it's Friday. Yeah. So, books, to get my ducks in a row here, because I noticed that there's quite a few little challenges happening in April by booktubers that I follow, and I'd like to be able to support them in their challenges and maybe participate in a few of them. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to name the challenges here at the front of the video. I'm just going to talk about the books that I'm going to read. Hopefully I have a big stack. So I did read 9 books in March so far, and we're not at the end of March yet, and so I might even read 10 or 11. Which is a major contrast to what happened in January and February. So I've definitely gotten back into reading. I'd fallen off the horse, I suppose. So I did make a wider selection, or I do have a wider selection of options for April because of that. Because I think that now I'm in the groove and I'm reading some really good books. I'm feeling good about reading again. Not that I felt bad about it before. I just wasn't reading much before. It wasn't easy for me to get through the books that I was reading at the beginning of the year. So I've got an unmanageable TBR potentially, or a very manageable TBR, depending on how the month goes. Can you believe that it's almost Easter? It's almost Easter. That is just, what? I know it's going to snow though. Always snows. It's supposed to snow this weekend, which is part of the reason why I'm filming today after work, because the sun is shining. It's a beautiful day. I don't know. I always feel like I have to give you guys a weather update. Must be the Canadian in me. So there's a couple of reading challenges going on. Trans Girl April, which is being hosted by Kevvie. I really want to participate in this. I'm already participating this week in the trans rights readathon. I'm reading Tell Me I'm Worthless, which has been on my TBR for quite some time, by Alison and Rumfitt. It's a horror. It's pretty intense so far, and it involves a haunted house, the relationship between 3 characters, and I guess we're just not quite sure what, I mean, I'm still early in the book. Like I'm just about a third of the way through, and we still don't know exactly what transpired in this haunted house where the 3 of them found themselves. So I think it's great so far. There's a lot of interesting perspectives by the different characters, but it's definitely intense. It's been intense so far. Anyway, this is a TBR, so I guess in a way this is like a current reads, could qualify for Trans Girl April. But the other book that I was really attracted to and possibly might want to try to read in April for this readathon is Nevada by Imogen Binnie. hope I'm saying that correctly. It's a road trip story. It's a post-breakup. That's really all I know about it. I know that it's kind of a cult classic. And my friend Gliss on Goodreads gave it 4 stars. So that is a great endorsement. Plus, it's been endorsed by Kevvie and other people who are suggesting books for the Trans Girl April readathon. Everybody get into it. Everybody should get into it. And then the other reading challenge, the MJ at Reading This Life, she's calling it Agatha in April. I don't know which book she's chosen. Probably got a video coming out at the same time that I'm preparing this video. But I think I'm going to read The Murder of Roger Ackroyd because I have heard so many good things about this book, and I attempted to read it last year in French, but I kind of gave up. So I think I'm just going to read it in English. I really want to read it, and I've heard it's fantastic. It's supposed to have a really great twist. It's already like 3 books. I mean, come on, what are we doing? Oh, and there's, I think, another one about reading memoirs, which is great because I have a reading vlog idea planned. It's called The People April Readathon, and it's very straightforward. It just involves reading a book about a person. It could be nonfiction, can be a memoir, an event to encourage, enjoy, and share the reading of nonfiction about people alive or dead through biography, history, autobiography, memoir, diaries, letters, and similar. This is hosted by Elisabeth Books and Ros at Scally Dandling about the book. They're new to me YouTubers, but I will put the links for all of these in the description box below. And I do have this great idea. Great idea. I commend myself too much. So here's my great idea for a reading vlog that I want to do in April. I haven't filmed a reading vlog yet this year, just because they're a lot of work, you know. And I haven't had that much free time because I've been working full time. The semester isn't over, but it is winding down a little in April. So I think I may have a little bit more time to film and edit something a little more fun than a sit down video. I love making vlogs. I'm not sure that people love watching my vlogs, but let me know in the comments below if you like a good reading vlog. If you don't, maybe just keep it to yourself. And here is my idea, everyone. So I have not yet read Women Talking, Miriam Toews, and Run Towards Danger by Sarah Polley. Sarah Polley just won an Oscar for her adaptation for the screen of the book Women Talking. I haven't read Women Talking. I have read other books by Miriam Toews that I've enjoyed. I think so. A Complicated Kindness, which I really enjoyed. So yeah, anyway, back to my idea for my vlog. So yeah, I thought it'd be fun to read these 2 together, 2 Canadian women. And one is a biography memoir, and one is kind of biographical in a very certain way, right? Like it's based on a real community, real Mennonite colony. So it's going to be a really fun reading vlog. So if you like reading vlogs, stay tuned for that. I think I'm going to have a lot of fun with that. I'm trying to figure out what Sarah Polley's connections are to Montreal, or places that maybe there's a connection to her, or maybe even Miriam Toews. And then maybe I'll make it interesting that way. Or maybe I'll just do something fun like, I don't know, go to an attraction I haven't been to in Montreal before. I've also been reading Demon Copperhead by Barbara Kingsolver. This is my first time reading Barbara Kingsolver, and it's fantastic. It's really good. Like right away from the first chapter, you get really drawn into the character of Demon and his world. I mean, it really is a different world that's unfamiliar and kind of foreign, well, at least to me, and probably I would think to a lot of people. But still, the character is very relatable. Oh wait, this isn't a review. This is a TBR. This is Barbara Kingsolver has taken the story of, and I think, well, the inspiration for the story is David Copperfield by Charles Dickens, which I haven't read. And this book has made me really feel like I want to read the original, but that's a story for another day. But I'm really enjoying this. It's a buddy read with Lori, and I'm really enjoying it. And yeah, I'm definitely going to be reading the rest of it for April. So I'm definitely going to read, in terms of the Women's Prize for Fiction long list, I've been grappling a little bit with it other than Demon Copperhead. I do have a copy of The Marriage Portrait, but I'm not going to get to that this month, I don't think. I am definitely going to read Trespasses, which I'm just waiting to come in the mail. I'm waiting for it to come, and it's taking its damn time. But I'm waiting for Trespasses by Louise Kennedy. Trespasses, from what I've heard, it's set during the Troubles in Ireland, and it's about an affair. And I've heard that it's steamy. I've heard that it's a bit risque. I've heard people saying some negative things about it, which, yeah, I still want to read it. And I guess everyone has their own, that's the wonderful thing about BookTube, is everyone has their own preferences, and they get along with certain books, as we like to say, and others don't get along with certain books. So I still want to give it a read, and well, I convinced my book club to read it instead of Dog of the North. Is that the silly one? I convinced them to read that one instead. So that's what we're reading for that book club, and I'm actually really looking forward to it. I hope it's not boring like some people say. Really keeping my fingers crossed. And also waiting for my copy. Some of the books I just can't get here, which is a bit disappointing. Like, I really wanted to read Homesick because I'm a big fan of Olga Tokarczuk's, and it's Olga Tokarczuk's translator, Homesick by Jennifer Croft. I've heard there's 2 versions of it. It seems that like getting the one that's the one that's being judged for the Women's Prize in the US or North America is tricky right now. There's a couple of others on the list that I'd like to read, but I might just have to wait and read them after the short list is announced. I've been hearing good things this week on BookTube about the Bandit Queens. But the Bandit Queens is available here, so I might change things around and read the Bandit Queens, or I might not. I might just wait, see how I feel. I really prefer the UK cover of the Bandit Queens as well, so I haven't bought it. I could get it on an ebook, but it's not my favorite thing to do. We'll see. We'll see where we go with the Women's Prize reading, but definitely going to be reading Trespasses. The other book that I'm reading this month is Consent by Vanessa Springora, and I'm disappointed because mine has a little watermark on it. I ordered it. Sometimes when you order books, man, it's like, it's kind of disappointing. They don't become mucked up, and like, are you really going to send it back? They're banking on you not sending it back. So this is, oh, this would have also qualified for, but I could also read this for the reading people. I mean, I read a lot of memoirs, but this is for one of my book groups has chosen to read this, and it's something that's assigned in high school for French students in French high schools, I know for sure. Translated by Natasha Lair from the French, and it's a memoir about a woman. It says on the back, this is not a love story. So it's a conversation about the age difference between these two people. It says, consent is at once a scathing testimony against the culture of complicity, an intimate reflection on the toll of trauma, and a beautifully rendered journey towards healing. I think it's going to be really good. It might be a bit hard to read, but I think it's going to be really good. That is definitely on the docket. Then I have 2 books out of the library, which I'm hoping to get to. No, it's a totally manageable TBR. No problem. The first is Bestiary by K-Ming Chang. I've been hearing about this book for some time now, and I just wanted to give it a try. What do I know about it? Not very much. 3 generations of Taiwanese American women are haunted by the myths of their homeland in the spellbinding visceral debut about one family's queer desires, violent impulses, and buried secrets. Well, that sounds really good to me. And I like the cover, even though it's got library stuff on it. But it does sound really good to me, and I do want to read it. I only have it out for 3 weeks unless I renew it, so I kind of have to read it. And I also took out from the library at work Geraldine Brooks's Horse, which it didn't get named in the long list for the Women's Prize, but people were really gunning for it, and the people that I watched who were gunning for it really said really good things about it. So it just really drew me in, convinced me to take a look. I've never read any Geraldine books, so this would be an author who I've never read before, and it appeals to me to maybe discover a new author. This is about a woman or a man who gets obsessed with a painting, or the horse in the, it's about a thoroughbred horse, but it's also about a gallery owner and the art world. It's set in different time periods. I think it says here it's set in 1850, 1954, and 2019, but it's all based on this shared interest of a horse, and a horse that's depicted in a painting. It sounds like a different idea for a story, and it intrigued me, so I'm really going to try to read it. Anyway, that's 9 books. So I'm adding 3 hopefuls to the list. So it's going to be maybe a toss-up of if I get to these or which I get to. The first is How High We Go in the Dark by Sequoia Nagamatsu. This is a sort of a set of short stories that are interwoven, I think, and they all deal with, I mean, it's supposed to be about the resilience of the human spirit. There's a plague. It just sounds good, and people have been talking about it, and I want to be part of the conversation, so I'm going to try to read it. And I did have short stories on my goals. Well, it's not officially on my goals, but I was going to try to read more short stories. I think it's short stories. No, it says it's a novel. So it's not short stories? I had heard it was short stories. Anyway, I guess I'm going to find out if it's short stories or a novel. It says it's a novel, so looking forward to potentially maybe reading this. And then I really want to read The Swimmers by Julie Otsuka. I've never read anything of hers either. I just have heard good things about this, and I guess the topic interests me because my father passed away from a weird kind of dementia where he had hallucinations. And, well, maybe it's not a weird form of dementia. I mean, what form of dementia isn't weird? And my mom currently has dementia. So, I don't know. I guess it's like I'm still working through my feelings about their end of lives, or their experiences at the end of their life where they're really losing their mental capacities. And this just sounds like something that might be really interesting. And I think that it's important to read about and to accept people with all kinds of different types of mental illness in the world. But obviously this is a problem that we're all sort of dealing with. I know so many people that are dealing with family members that have some kind of dementia or have lost their capacity in some way. So this is about a group of people who all go to the same pool. One of the characters is losing her memory. So the pool represents for her a place, a way of I don't know, I haven't read it yet, but it says final stand against the darkness of her encroaching dementia. And I'm not sure if it's told from her perspective or whose perspective it's told from. I think I've heard that the first part is told by the chorus and that there's a little bit of sort of experimental in its structure. So I really want to read this. I think this might be the first one that I get to of the hopefuls. And my last hopeful is Milk Fed by Melissa Broder, which I picked up recently and talked about in a recent book haul. I mean, I have so many books that I want to read and I really want to get to them all, but this sounds funny, and I think a lot of the books that I'm reading are a little bit serious and a little bit heavy, so I kind of wanted to get something that would maybe be a little bit light. I like to try to keep it balanced, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this isn't funny at all. I don't know. It says a scathingly funny, wildly erotic, and fiercely imaginative novel about food, sex, and God from the acclaimed author of The Pisces and So Sad Today. So I haven't read the back because I don't really want to know the plot or the synopsis. I've heard nothing but good things about this book and would like to read it as well. And then, of course, I might change my mind along the way. That does happen. And I don't have any classics on my pile for this month. I'm thinking about reading Middlemarch in May. So yeah, those are my plans for my reading plans for April. Please stick around if you want to check out some of my other videos. If you want to check out some of my other vlogs, I'll leave a couple of them linked in the description box below. And thanks so much for spending this time with me, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye for now. Granola, do you have a toy? I love it when you pretend to throw the toy and you don't really throw the toy. It's such a psych moment. He goes for it every time now. I thought he was smarter than that, but he goes for it every time now. Don't eat my basket, Nola. It's hardly fair for me to say that because I won't let him use the squeaky toy. Why don't you chew on this, bud? Here, chew on that. April. Is it called April People? I think so. Kind of a weird hashtag.